update us on the injured guys, please, how they're going?
Yeah, they're coming along pretty well at the moment. The plan is for them to train tomorrow and train Friday later in the week before we make decisions. They're at different stages. We'd expect Franklin and Mitchell will do some training tomorrow. Gary Rowan will run tomorrow, and hopefully they all get to train fully on Friday as well. So whilst we won't know until Friday, we'll get a bit of an indication tomorrow afternoon how they're going at training, and we'd expect them to get through that okay tomorrow at this stage.
Are you confident with Buddy?
Yes, we don't know. It's Monday and we don't have to make a decision obviously until Friday. We'd like him to be able to train obviously tomorrow and train Friday and play this week. We're really keen for him to be able to do that. We've got a few blokes that have missed a little bit of footy. We'd like to get some football into them, and most importantly try and help us win this week. We're in a situation where our destiny's in our own hands, and we need to be able to put our best team on the park this week and be really competitive against the Saints, who are terrific on Saturday. So that's our challenge, and that's what we're going to try and aim to do. But we certainly won't be playing them if they're not able to do the required amount of training this week.
Are we at the stage of, pardon me, we're at the stage of the season now where the need to get the match practice into the guys before the finals becomes a bigger factor than it was, say, a week or two ago?
Well, we're at the stage of the season where we need to win this week. That's where we're at this week. It's really important to be able to do that. We get to this point in the season to be able to control our own destiny, and that's where we're at. It's very important to be able to do that. That's point number one, is that we need to play well this week. And part of that allows us to have our best team on the park, and that's the plan, and we'll see how that goes as the week progresses. But they also need to be playing some football, clearly, so those decisions will be made, and we're obviously mindful of those decisions being the right ones, and that'll occur a little bit more later in the week.
It must be really pleasing with someone like Buddy out for this long period of time that guys like Curtin, especially Sammy Reid, have really stepped up in his absence.
Yeah, on the weekend certainly that was the case. It was, we just thought it was probably we didn't have many that didn't play well on the weekend. There was a terrific team effort on the weekend, so we had a consistent contribution from all of our players on the weekend. So, those boys were good, but so was our team defence attitude, which was really important to be able to get those opportunities in our front half. So that's what our focus continues to be this week.
I know obviously every team, and especially yours, would like to have Buddy on the field, but has it given you a chance to experiment with a couple of different structures?
I know, we'd like to have him in the team. It's he's a very good player, and we'd like to have him in the team, but in the end, if he plays this week or doesn't, it'll be a decision made on what's the best team to be able to field the most competitive unit to win against the Saints this weekend. That's our priority. That's what we'll try and do. If he plays, terrific. If he doesn't, well, we're confident obviously the other boys can contribute as well.
You sounded a bit uncertain on the weekend about Tom Mitchell after that poke in the eye there. Have you got any update on his status?
Yeah, probably a little bit more positive about him being a chance to play this week. He needs to see the specialist later in the week, but he's actually really good today, a lot better than what they anticipated. So from an unusual injury last week to maybe being a couple of weeks out, he's certainly a lot better today than what was thought he might have been from last Friday. So he's a chance to play this week. He has to go through the setup of actually seeing the specialist later on the week to make sure he's all clear, and that'll happen later on before Friday's training session. But it looks reasonably positive at this stage.
How did that actually happen? Was it just in some kind of drill?
I was just in a tackling drill. It just a player went to fend him away, and unfortunately didn't fend him in the chest and fended him in the face, and his finger went in his eye. It's very simple. Wouldn't read about it how easy it happened. So those things happen now and then. Unfortunately, he missed a game, but if he's able to play this week, the damage is not too bad.
With Buddy, is it a matter of getting enough ball work into him now, or
Yeah.
has he satisfied you in terms of his running?
He's certainly taken a step forward in his running over the last week, and he's been able to do what's been required as far as his running program, but now he needs to, he's also been kicking the ball and doing some training with the balls, but he needs to do the training tomorrow and Friday as well. So that's our plan. He needs to make sure he's running around and feeling good about it to be able to be available for selection for Sunday. Yeah, Gary's in the same boat. His plan is not to train tomorrow, but he'll be running tomorrow, and he certainly ran on the weekend, and he'll run again tomorrow and look to train on Friday, so we won't know what he'll be like until Friday afternoon.
We put together back-to-back wins for the first time in about 6 rounds. Do you hope now this is the kind of impetus that will give you some real momentum going into the final?
I know everyone's sort of talking about finals. We've still got 2 games to go.
But I mean, kind of building into.
Yeah, but we need to win this week, and it's really important that we win this week because we're fully aware of the situation and being in a reasonable situation to have a say in our own destiny. And this week's important to be able to play against a team who we saw play Geelong on the weekend, who are fantastic. The Saints have got some terrific young players. They're playing really good football, and that'll be our focus. Our focus doesn't deviate from that, and it's important that our players know that as well, as to be able to. We need to make sure that this week's a real consideration. I mean, what happens outside the footy club, well, I guess everyone can talk about that, but we're really determined to make sure that our focus is on the Saints this week.
Do you feel like your form's back where you think it's?
Oh, we need to keep being a bit more consistent. I mean, we were okay in patches a week before against Collingwood, and we certainly played well on the weekend. So our challenge is to put another good 4 quarters together. That's what we'd like to do, and that's our task ahead of us this week, is to play a really good 4-quarter brand of footy and be good in all aspects of the game. And we'd like to do that again, and that's important to be able to play that sort of football that we like to play, which we were able to do on the weekend, but against the Saints at Etihad this week. That's our challenge.
Buddy or not, has James Rose done enough to get another game next week?
I don't think I've seen a smile like it in that last quarter. It was fantastic to be able to see a young kid really enjoy his footy like that, and it gave the players a real lift. They were so happy for him, and it'd be fair to say he did his job, played his role, come on as a sub and kick 3 goals, and we'd always thought that he's able to contribute. We probably didn't expect that, which is a good sign. It certainly helps with our depth, and to have a player come in his first year, I think we had on the weekend 7 players under 50 games, and to have a first gamer come in and kick 3 goals in a quarter was a good sign for us, and we'd like to be able to look at him this week. But it depends upon the other guys, obviously, with Rowan, McGlynn, Mitchell, Franklin, those guys coming back into the mix. We need to get that balance right as far as how many players we were able to play this week in our senior team.
John, just a quick question, it's a little outside of the games, but the AFL Coaches Association have talked about how they don't want clubs potentially poaching assistants before the end of the season. Obviously, there's been talk with Brendan Bolton going to Carlton before the season's over. You've obviously had assistant coaches that have been talked about in the mix for coaching gigs. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's obviously those discussions go on with various assistant coaches when there's coaching positions become available, which is, we all understand that, and everyone's upfront and open about those discussions. I'd personally like to see the coaches that are involved, and even if they get appointed as senior coaches, stay at their clubs. It's up to every individual senior coach and every individual club to make that decision. If it was to happen here, I'd be really keen for that coach to stay. It's difficult when it's a long way out from a final series, but when the closer you get to a final series, I think that everyone's mature enough to be able to get that balance right and be able to focus on the task at hand. And I think that's where it's heading with the Coaches Association anyway. I think they're certainly talking to more clubs about that, and that'll get there. It'll just take a bit of time, I think.
Last year, 12 months ago, the same part of the season, you were in a position where you could rest players or manage their workloads going in the final. You're probably not in that position this time around. There's no thoughts to that?
No, we're not. I mean, we've got to make sure we keep winning. It's a pretty simple equation for us. We need to make sure we play a really competitive brand of footy to keep winning, and that's what we'll be trying to do. And we need to get some players back into the team, and that's what we'll be planning to do. So that's our plan coming up over the next game, is to make sure that we play the available players that are ready to play, and that's what our aim is. It's pretty simple. It's making sure that our best players are available to play when we need them, and we need them this week. If they're not playing, well, we're comfortable. We've got some depth there to be able to come into the senior team, as we showed in the weekend, and have players contribute, which was really pleasing to play a really talented team and to come away with such a good win.